Welcome to my channel. I looked at my coloring plans and I realized that if I want to color all my Christmas pictures in my to-do list, I probably need to have an early start in November rather than in December. But problem is that I'm not very inspired yet to do winter pictures. Here in Ukraine we already have chilly weather, but it's sunny, we don't have snow yet, but and it's not very easy to switch from autumn into winter pictures. I was thinking that maybe if I look at my old works, if I create for myself a list of my best winter works, maybe it will um, give me additional inspiration to start doing winter pictures for this season. I already made video about all my winter works in Teresa Goodrich books, but if we talk about the best works, then in Winter Wonderland I would select this page with fireplace because of the limited color palette, because of the warm reflection from the fireplace on everything which we have around, and I simply love this very rich and dark wine red color which I used for many elements here. In Enchanted Christmas, as my favorites, I would select this page, which for me is moment of packing gifts probably and decorating house for the Christmas. And my second favorite here is the page with elves skate. I do love how background looks together with composition beautifully done by Teresa, very nice composition. I do love this skate, and well, that's definitely in my top 10 list. In Christmas charm it was difficult to find my favorite, but I think that this picture with window which divide frosty evening atmosphere outside the window and very warm cozy atmosphere inside, that's my favorite picture in Christmas charm. But I did winter and Christmas pictures in the books by other artists, obviously, so maybe let's have a look first and escape to Christmas past. Here not all pictures are directly connected to Christmas, so I tried to find one which I love and which have some Christmas elements, and I selected this spread with a reindeer because I remember my feelings when I started it. It was a little bit terrifying because the background is so crowded with various objects. So only one trick, when I divided elements into color groups, like something red, something violet, something blue, it helped me a little bit to color this background. But mostly I am proud with reindeer. Initially it was just flat line art, but I added a little bit of shading using various French gray, warm gray colors to make those shadows, and I even added a little bit of texture, longer fur on the neck, on the tail. So I think that in the end everything worked quite well. If you love this style of pictures, I can recommend to do this one because it really has many Christmas elements, and I love paper here. One of the best artists for Christmas pictures for me is Tatiana Bogema, and I started to color on my PDF books which I purchased on Etsy. I printed them myself, but now I started to purchase her paper books on Amazon. So I hope that this year I will be able to organize nice marathon in her Christmas books. I hope that you also enjoy Tatiana Bogema books and that you will join me. Among those pictures which I already managed to color, I selected these two as my favorites. I will leave you a link to all my finished pictures by Tatiana Bogema because I really think that many of her Christmas pictures are quite nice. So one is with nice mouse who tries to create a list of Christmas presents. Very nice composition here, a very cozy atmosphere. And the second, it's about elves, helpers of Santa. Very nice book, and I wish that I had it. I purchased it as paper, not as PDF, but on this paper I love to work with artisan pencils. Here I love this cozy kitchen with many interesting yummy things, tableware, and of course this cooking elf also is adorable. I love to select several sources of light to make all those highlights. Tatiana Bagema always do beautiful fireplaces, all those textures of garlands, of stones, so it's really a pleasure to color in her books. Surprisingly, pictures by Kanoko Yagusa. Well, I love all my winter finished pictures, but somehow I hope that my best pictures for Christmas Sam are ahead of me. I hope that this year I will manage to do some of her Christmas pictures in symphony. But among those which I have already finished, I think that my favorite Christmas spread is this one. Surprisingly, it's not in Menuet, but in Rhapsody. Here it's a very old work, and when I started to color it, I was very unexperienced in coloring fur, but careful line art and delicate shading on the fur provided by Kanoko, it was very helpful, and it really boosted my confidence in coloring fur. And when I colored it, it was a very popular page. Everyone colored it. So it was very difficult for me to find at least something original for the pattern. For me, it reminded me about those famous sweaters with similar ornaments. I love them. They always look so beautiful, so fashionable. And I think that this background pattern looks nice with the central image. Another thing which I was extremely proud of is how I did this more lavender shining on the snow. It really helped to attract more attention to this background and to make it slightly more different from the blue colors on the background. And page on the left, on the right, I also love it because of the unusual colors both for the tree and for the background. I called it Victorian Christmas. I did it after I watched video that this violet color was rediscovered during Victorian time. This paint was has extremely high price during Victorian time, so only very rich people had allowed to purchase such fabric to make dresses and other things from it. So I decided to use this knowledge into my coloring, and I'm glad that I managed to do this very light background thanks to fabulous pastel colors of Prismacolor pencils. I love how they blend on this paper almost without visible pencil strokes, and this very delicate ornament on it I also did with various beige, peach colors, gray colors from Prismacolor set. So even if it's very old work, I still think that it's probably my best spread which I so far did for the Winter Sam in Kanoko Yagusa books. Well, in Hannah Carlson, I hadn't colored many winter pictures, but my definite favorite is this page on the left. Well, on the right it's also not bad, but it was a little bit crazy when I sprinkled everything with silver paint. So page on the left for me is better. Again, I'm glad that I managed to do it in limited color palette. I do love this gradient on the sky, so I managed not to lose snowflakes, to do crystals so that they look in the same time quite wintry. They support the rest of the colors here, and I am glad how I did fur on What type of cat is this? Well, let's not think about it because I don't remember correct name in English. Anyway, the only problem here was those mice. They are not so good, I know. They were last element to color, so maybe I had to use more time, more patience for them, but I was thinking that I'm so proud of the head of the cat that the rest is not so important. I'm glad that I decided to make blue eyes. I think that they immediately attract attention. This beautiful jewelry on the forehead and her eyes, I think that they definitely are a focal point here, so I'm proud of this work. Another very good book for winter colorings is Sagar och Zakner by Emily Linderhol-Oberg, and it's great news that this book will be reprinted, and I hope that many colorists will have great winter time doing winter pictures here. As my favorite, I selected this Snow Princess. She's very nice by herself, but I also love how I did background here. Again, I tried to stay in limited color palette. I always love all violet, blue-violet colors in Prismacolor set, and here I used them together with blue. And it was one of my first successful attempts how to do white fur with shading. In this book we don't have a lot of texture only, but I love how she does border of fur. She doesn't use a straight thick line, she uses very delicate strokes to imitate fur, but it's only around the borders. And shading on the body you need to do yourself, and by combining a little bit of gray, a little bit of blue, I think that I managed to do nice shading on the polar bear. And those animals, they all are so cute, atmosphere is so cozy, they all pressed together, so I really think that by itself picture is very positive. The only downside was that when yesterday I prepared my book to show you, I realized that all my snowflakes, which I so carefully draw here, they almost disappeared. I used white Posca, traditional white Posca, but this picture it has maybe 3 or 4 years, and blue pigment of Prismacolor almost 8, white pigment of snowflakes. They looked like this. I left one to show you, so I lost contrast, and yesterday I had to draw them once again with white Posca. I hope that now when I edit white color they won't disappear again, so be careful with your Posca pens. They are not as permanent as we consider them. Surprisingly, I even have nice winter pictures in books by Maria Trolli. You know that she is far from my favorite artist, and usually I struggle a lot. And surprisingly, only 2 pictures where I don't have any big problems, big critic toward my work. It's for winter theme. The first is a winter wreath. Here I started it to practice how to do this wooden planks, wooden tiles. I added them myself and I practiced how to do this texture with Prismacolor pencils. But to do the rest of it also was quite nice. So I think that picture looks really lovely. Yeah, I'm proud of my wooden texture, but original image also isn't bad. The second is this one, where I used various media, watercolors, Derwent Inktense, and Prismacolor pencils, I believe. But mostly I'm proud of these flowers, poinsettias, and probably camellia flowers, that I decided to use unusual color for the leaves. They are blue with a little bit of great lavender, so they are interesting. They match frozen atmosphere. Yes, surprisingly, that's a couple of works in Maria Trolle where I'm happy that I did it, and I'm proud of my works, even if some elements were confusing, like her very big shoulders, the shape of her hand, but still flowers are good, and the whole winter atmosphere also isn't bad. Now we move to the two final books in mythographic series. Last year I did many pictures in Fabiana Attanasio Frozen Fantasies, but my favorite, all of them are good, but my favorite is those space penguins. I also played a little bit here with my metallic and pearl watercolors, so in real life background is shiny, because I didn't know what to do with those comets, falling stars, falling snow. I didn't know what to do. Mostly I was attracted to penguins themselves and those huge pieces of ice where they are standing. I also think that this magenta or pearl light dark lavender color, it creates very good combo with all those green blue colors. So bottom part is good. Upper part, for me, maybe it was a little bit too crowded with simple blue background with all those planets. Maybe those penguins, they would look even better. But in the end, I think that everything worked quite well. And that's my favorite here. I was tempted to name as my favorite another picture with a reindeer, simply because I love reindeers. You can see that I even can't find it here, so I will show you. Oh, this one. But something is, well, I don't know, something is confusing here. Maybe how I did those houses covered by snow. So I think that this one, which has stronger contrasts, this nice dark background together with interesting colors for the eyes, it's more interesting work, so I selected this one as my favorite. But I enjoy this book. I hope that during 3 winter months I will be able to add something new to the Frozen Fantasies. And finally, in my top list of my winter works, I have A Romantic Country by Eri. It's a second tale, and I have here my winter palace. I hope that I will manage to show you the full size of the spread. Let's put everything aside so we won't be distracted from this one. When I started, I really wanted to color nutcrackers. I love nutcrackers, but then slowly I started to think which colors I can use for the building. I decided to stay in a limited color palette of cold grays with a little bit of additional green and blue colors. And then I did wood also in slightly less traditional colors. It's like gray wood, but it created really good contrast to all the garlands, Christmas balls. I decorated those Christmas trees with additional bubbles because they didn't have enough Christmas decorations for me. And of course, when after that I used very traditional blue, yellow and red colors for the bowl, for the nutcrackers. They really popped up. They started to be like focal point here. And I think that in the end everything worked exactly like I imagined it. You know that to color Eri isn't very easy, mostly because paper is tricky, but the spread, it took me some time to finish it because of the size, but color choices was easy, and I remember that it really helped me to dive into atmosphere of Christmas very nice, very positive thoughts and memories about this spread. So if you love Airy, I would highly recommend you to put this spread into your to-do list. I saw many interesting varieties of this finished spread with warm light coming from the windows. We can imagine that there is some ball already inside, or more winter atmosphere, so you can use your imagination, and I hope that my picture also can give you some inspiration to start doing your winter pictures. Yes, I think that all my winter pictures, they inspired me to look closer at the same books to select new winter pictures here, but I also have some new untouched books with nice Christmas pictures. So I hope that if I do similar video next years, I will expand of my list of authors with Christmas and winter pictures, and this video will be more interesting. Thank you, and I hope that I managed to give you some Christmas and winter inspiration.